I was in Paris, and since we are working a lot with car manufacturers, I thought if I go to Paris, I have to go to Berlin as well. So there I am. I was just counting the presentations of today, and I realized I was number 46. So there's a few more between me, my presentation, and the dinner. So what I can do is stick to the time. So that's what I will try. Jedlix, what are we doing? We are doing smart charging. And that's a word you probably hear quite regularly. But we do it over the air. Keep that in mind. I will come back to that later. What do we deliver? We really believe that we need a fundamental change in the entire system that we are all operating in, which basically means that if we say we would like to have a petrol car replaced by an electric vehicle, let us also then make sure that we do everything we can to fill up the car with renewables and make it transparent. That's one part what we're doing. And at the end of the day, we do it via the over-the-air connection, which I will explain later, and the rewards that we create with that, we will give back to the user to a certain extent to make sure that everybody uses the system. What is this system about? As I said, it is smart charging over the air, which is very different from all the other charging approaches you will see in the market. It is a bit like Michael Knight and Kit steering the car via his watch. We do connect to the car and do steer the charging process on a wireless basis, so to say, which means that we can give stop and start commands regardless of who is involved in the socket, who is in the charging station. And this has a few advantages. We are much more scalable. It is 100% software, so we are not doing anything related to infrastructure. And as you can imagine, you can build a real platform. How to achieve that, I will come back to that. What are the advantages that we see? Of course, we lower the total cost of ownership. We can really create transparency in what is going into the car. As I explained before, we focus a lot on fleets and charging of the fleets. And last but not least, since we have this over-the-air connection, we pool all kinds of car brands. We currently team up with BMW, Tesla, and Renault. There's more to come. Renault is also an investor. And this will help us to really scale things. And if something goes wrong in this area, this bezirk, we can take a look at the zip code and simply switch off the charging process for a few seconds, a few minutes, or half an hour to make sure that the lights keep on burning. Jedlix, a winning solution. Why am I convinced that we have a winning proposition here? As I said, it's 100% software-based. It's hardware agnostic, so we can team up with anyone, and we do not run into the trap of a limited scalability. Secondly, the over-the-air connection, where we have a direct link to the car and talk to the car, is very different from what you see in the market. However, to achieve that, we have to team up with the car manufacturers, and this is exactly what we're doing. As I explained, we are very glad to have a few on board, and there's more to come. It was a bit too early to announce it today, but I'm confident that in the course of the year, you will get some more names. And the last thing, last but not least, is so we have this pool of cars. So it's basically a virtual power plant we have based on batteries inside a car. We use it in the flexibility markets, in the DSO market, and give part of this value back to the driver. That can be a financial reward. So we have structured it like that as we speak. But it could very well be that different kinds of values are perceived in a, let's say, better way. For example, giving someone a free subscription to Spotify or things like that. So we're all experimenting with that because at the end of the day, the system will only work once we have a lot of users on board who will start to use the system and keep on using the system. Way forward, well, I have only 20 seconds left. I expect some more investors to come on board after the summer. So anyone who thinks this is a nice story, please talk to me. Anyone who thinks it could be better, talk to me as well. As you can see, we focus on, besides the Netherlands, France, Germany, UK, and Belgium for the coming year, for this year. We are a lot involved in smart charging of fleets, and of course, vehicle-to-grid is also on the horizon. But also there, we focus only on the software side of things, so not on, let's say, heavy infrastructure. I reached the end of the presentation. Being in Germany, I think we have seen the Energiewende, and now it's time for accelerating the Autowende. Thank you.